Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Prahlada Singha Prahlada Singha Prahlada Singha Jaya Prahlada Singha Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravarajakacharya Ashtata Satasi Simathis Divine Grace Silave Charanaravinda Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaja Sila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anant Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Sila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Samavita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vaishnavas, Vaishnavas. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. He's another old man. Haribol. Haribol Shivatma Prabhu. We will be reading today from the 7th canto, chapter 9 text. 1. The text is on your mobile telephones, and if you don't have one, like me, you can look on the mobile telephone of your neighbor. 791. Please repeat. Shri Narada Uvacha Evam Suradaya Sarve Evam Suradaya Sarve Brahmarudra Purasadaha Nupaitum Ashakan Manyu Samrambam Sudurasadam Srinarada Uvacha Evam Suradaya Sarve Brahmarutra Purasadaha Nopaitam Ashakan Manyu Samrambam Sudura Sadam. Shri Narada Uvacha Evam Suradaya Sarve Brahmarutana Pura Sarva Saraha Sada Nopaitum Ashakan Manyu Sangrambang Sudura Sadam. Yes. Someone else, please. Shri Narada Uvacha Evam Suradaya Sarve Amarudasma Sada Nopaito Mashakam Manyu Sangrambang Sudurasadam. Shri Narada Uvacha Evam Suradaya Sarve Brahma Rudra Purasada Nopaitum Ashakam Manyu Sangrambam Sudara. Thank you. One Mataji, one Vaishnavi, please. Shri Narada Uvacha Evam Suradaya Sarve Shri Narada Uvacha. The great saintly sage Narada Muni said, Evam, thus, Suradaya, the groups of demigods, Sarve, all, Brahmarutra Purasada, represented by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Not upaitum, to go before the Lord. Ashakan, able. Manyu samramban, in a completely angry mood. Sudurasadam, very difficult to approach. Lord Narsimhadev. Translation. So this is right after the appearance of Lord Narsimhadev from the stone pillar in the mighty emperor's palace, Hiranyakashipu. The Lord had made his very ferocious entry, and he had killed the king of the demons, and he was sitting now there, breathing very heavily, with ears upright, trembling. He was samramban, in a completely angry mood. Here's the text for you. The great saint Narada Muni continued, the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other great demigods, dared not to come forward before the Lord, who at that time was extremely angry. Purport. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung in his Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Krodha Bhakta Dvesha Jane. Anger should be used to punish a demon who is envious of devotees. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsaya, lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy, all have their proper use for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotee. A devotee of the Lord cannot tolerate blasphemy of the Lord or his other devotees. And the Lord also cannot tolerate blasphemy of a devotee. Thus, Lord Narsimhadev was so very angry that the great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and even the goddess of fortune, who is the Lord's constant companion, could not pacify him, even after offering prayers of glorification and praise. No one was able to pacify the Lord in his anger. And because the Lord was willing to exhibit his affection for Prahlada Maharaj, all the demigods and the others present before the Lord pushed Prahlada Maharaj forward to pacify him. So we can just picture the scene in our mind. Lord Narsimhadev has come and he has ripped to shreds the demon Hiranyakashipu. He was so angry that he did that he put a garland around himself, by himself. Do you remember that garland? We don't need to speak about it loud, because maybe there are some pregnant ladies and they would faint if they hear this. But do you remember that garland? Yes, yes, yes. He put it around himself. I mean, I have never ever seen a fight where the winner put such a garland around his neck. I mean, I've never seen people that angry. So this is divine anger. It is superlative anger. And the question was how to pacify the Lord's anger. Do you remember who was able to pacify him? Was it Brahma? But he's supremely intelligent. He knows psychology and how to pacify. Was it Shiva? Was it his own wife, Lakshmi? No. Who? Yes, Prahlad. Yes, you know everything. Yes, so he was pushed forward by the devatas who saw if the Lord maintains this anger, the whole universe will be burned to pieces. So he has to calm down. So they pushed Prahlada Maharaj forward to pacify him, because it was for the benefit of Prahlada that the Lord had made his appearance. My dear devotees, in this little scene, you see one secret of Lord Narsimhadev's appearance, which also our Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Madhya Leela chapter 8, text 6. It shows you the two sides of Lord Narsimhadev. He is simultaneously Ugra. Do you know what is Ugra? Ferociously angry, not just a little angry, extremely angry, and he is full of anugraha. Do you know what is anugraha? Anugraha is a certain type of mercy. There are 7 types of mercy in the heart of God. And anugraha is a mercy which extends from the transcendent plane and captures a candidate of that mercy. It totally captures him. Graha. Graha means to grab, like this, no? Grab. So that mercy of Lord Nrsimhadev is anugraha mercy. It grabs someone. It overwhelms them. It the English word, envelops them, and it takes you and does something with you which is beyond your boldest expectations. So this is explained here, these two sides. Ugro, say, Ugro, Pyanukra, Evayam, Svabhaktanam, Nalikeshari, Keshariva, Svapotanam, Anyesham, Ukravikramaha. Translation is, although the lioness means female lion is I'm sorry, is very is very ferocious, and the lioness is also very kind to her cubs. Cubs is baby lions. Similarly, although very ferocious to non-devotees like Hiranyakashipu, Lord Narsimhadev is very, very soft and kind to devotees like Prahlada Maharaj. This verse was composed by Sridhar Swami in his commentary on the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 791. And this is now the verse which we are reading, 791. The demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other great demigods dared not to come forward before the Lord, who at that time was extremely angry. So Sridhar Swami, if you want to, Mahaprabhu has said, if you want to understand the Bhagavatam, you must accept Sridhar Swami as your guru. He tells you, if you want to understand the Srimad Bhagavatam, you must follow the commentary of Sridhar Swami. Now, Sridhar Swami had one Ishta Devata. Do you know? The deity of his choice. Lord Nrsimhadev, yes. So he, as a devotee, wrote on this verse which describes the anger of the Lord. Although very ferocious, the lioness, female lion, is very kind to her cubs. Similarly, although very ferocious to non-devotees like Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nrsimhadev is very, very soft and kind to devotees like Prahlada Maharaj. Yes. When you look at Lord Nrsimhadev, divine appearance, you need to understand really the two purposes, because if you understand only the one purpose, to vinashaya chaduskritam, to finish the duskritam, the rascals, the atheistic rascals, you have an incomplete picture of Lord Nrsimhadev. In the old days in Germany, we had we divided the devotees in two groups. The Nrsimha Bhaktas, they had very heavy boots usually, And the Govinda Bhaktas, we divided them. Can you imagine what I was? Govinda Bhakta, yes, I was a Govinda Bhakta. And then there were heavy, Nrsimha Bhakta. But our picture was incomplete because Lord Nrsimhadev has both sides in him. He's not divided between these two extreme, he is both. And it's very important for us to understand this, to develop bhakti and not just fear of Lord Nrsimhadev. Bhakti, there is a fearful bhakti also, but I mean the general understanding. Yes. So therefore, I want to, in explaining Lord Nrsimhadev, I want to speak about this kind side first, and how he appeared for his devotee Prahlad Maharaj. And I thought to narrate to you something you might have heard before, but by Krishna's mercy I have now more details on how Prahlad Maharaj took birth. Because if you understand this, then you understand Lord Nrsimhadev. You can only understand the Lord through the eyes of the Bhakta. In poetry, there is a very important thing which also made it into Goethe and so on. There was a prince in the old times called Manu who fell madly in love with a ordinary girl called Leila. Brahmacharis, bear with me. It is something. No, it is something important to understand. Please listen. So he gave up all his aristocratic backgrounds. He gave everything up to be together with this lady. I believe she was from a shepherd family, not the same class. And the ruler of the time, Harun al-Rashid, it's in where now Arabia is. He thought, well, if this prince gave up everything for Leila, she must have excellent qualities in beauty, in education, in manners, and so on. And he asked his minister to ask Leila to appear in court, just so that he could understand this whole affair. And when Leila was presented before him, she was, of course, a little shy because he was a mighty ruler, Harun al-Rashid. Harun al-Rashid was disappointed, but she looks very ordinary, like any lady you meet on the street, a simple lady. And he asked Manu, the prince, can you tell me what you find in Leila? And Manu, poetry, said, to understand the qualities of Leila, you need to look through the eyes of Manu. Otherwise, you cannot understand. Now, taking this principle, that it takes someone to see someone on the spiritual level, we have to understand God or Lord Nrsimhadev, you have to look through the eyes of Prahlad, his foremost Bhakta. Then you will understand something. If you don't look in that way, you will not be able to understand much. You might even remain in an incomplete understanding, like we were in the early days in Germany. I'm very happy that it was corrected because Lord Narasimhadev personally appeared here to correct this understanding. I don't think this was the prime reason of his understanding, but amongst many other things, he he did. Prabhupada told us in Germany we should worship him personally because we had a lot of difficulties from people who wanted to stop the spread of the Krishna conscious movement. Very powerful people, very powerful. So he said, you must worship Lord Narasimhadev. Prabhupada said this, and we did this. But amongst many benefits, our understanding has changed. So let us hear about Prahlada Maharaj's appearance. Prahlada Maharaj appeared in the family of who? Demoniac family, yes. Hiranyakashipu. Wow, the wisdom of a saint. Yes. So Hiranyakashipu had a traumatic relationship to God. Not that he only he did not just ignore the Lord. He hated him, and he hated him with a mood of taking revenge. Do you know from where this hatred towards God came? Yeah, his brother. What happened to his brother? He was killed by whom? Lord Varaha. Yes, with his chakra. Some say with his also with a this punch of a hoof. Yes. So since that time, well, maybe before, but this is known as the reason. Hiranyakashipu, who had a great hatred towards the Lord, because his brother Hiranyaksha was killed by the Lord, and he was very, very angry at the Lord. He wanted to challenge the Lord, and he went all over the universe fighting with powerful devatas and winning the fight. He was very, very, very ferocious. And he hoped that one day he would find Lord Vishnu, who killed his brother. But he said, Vishnu has hidden out of fear from me. He is not coming. He's not answering my challenge. He's hiding away from me. So he had gone, Hiranyakashipu, to the forest to become immortal, where he finally was able to invoke Brahma, who appeared before him, and he asked Lord Brahma to give him blessings of immortality. But Brahma gave him conditioned blessings. He said, immortality I cannot give you, but may you, yes, Charu, I see you know something about this episode. But please, now is listening time. Later is answering time. So Hiranyakashipu said, well, if you can't give me immortality, then, grant that I will not be killed during the day, nor during the night, not outside, not inside, not on the earth, not in the sky, and many, 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 many such blessings to really get through the back door, his main blessing, to be immortal and not that no one could kill him. So then, after this, he became very, very, very encouraged, and he attacked and subdued the entire universe. He was so much meningitis, means a headache in the universe, that the powerful rulers, devatas, were hiding, and also saints were hiding and or complying with his orders. There was only one saint whom he could not subdue. He couldn't get him. Narada Muni, no? Narada Muni. Mm, mm, mm. So Narada Muni one day said, "We must do something about this," and he went to one of his gurus, Brihaspati, I think something like a Shiksha guru, and told him about Hiranyakashipu and how he was ruling the universe in a demoniac way. And Brihaspati gave a very interesting prophecy about the fate of Hiranyakashipu. And please listen to it, because it will be a major point of this lecture. He said, every benefit that has been acquired by a person due to austerity can be exhausted when such a person attacks saintly people. Do you understand? Everything good which has come by effort, by austerities, and so on, is leaving you the moment one becomes angry with saintly people. This is, of course, an understanding we get from the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavatam, there is this scene where the ministers of King Kamsa come together and plan what they should do about this prophecy that one day the eighth son of Devaki will, what will he do? Kill the king. Ooh, that's a big thing, you know, kill the king. The eighth child would do this. So they were overtaken by Rajas and Tamas, these ministers, and they began to persecute saintly persons, not knowing what was good or bad for them. They thought, let us eradicate all religion, all dharma, anything out, and then there will be no danger for our king. The word in Sanskrit, the Bhagavatam says, Arad agata mrityavaha. It means soon all of them would be overtaken by death. And in the next verse, Shukadev Goswami addresses King Parikshit. He says, Ayushiyam yashodharmang lokan ashisha evacha hanti shreyangsi sarvani pungso mahat atikramaha. I think this verse is also very important for people in a spiritual movement. My dear king, when a man persecutes great souls, all his benedictions of longevity, this means long life, beauty and fame, religion and blessing, and also promotion to higher planets will be destroyed. At the moment where someone does not know what is good for me and what is bad for me, and starts to verbally or physically attack great souls, his long life is in danger, his beauty, his fame, means Instagram, everything will drop down, religion, blessings and promotion to the higher planets, everything is gone. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has warned the assembly of Gaudiya Vaishnavas by saying if you offend devotees and at the same time chant or take bath in the Ganga to be purified, your chanting and your bathing will turn against you. It won't have any use any longer. In spiritual life, we must be very, very, very careful that our our critical natures, which are there, we are Western people, we think about everything and try to understand everything with our rational mind. That we have to be careful here on this one point. It doesn't mean, we should be, the English word is gullible. Gullible means you are overwhelmed and a little too much influenced, and you lose your discrimination. But you should be kind towards devotees. Do you know why? Because the Lord loves them. Yes, I understand. I'm also a member of your movement. I have seen people who go on my nerves. Hare Krishna, like never before. I have seen. But that's one thing. I want to give you an example. Do you know a mango? Of course you know. Mangoes have a peel and the fruit, and the peel is sometimes there's black, and if you would bite on the peel, there is a paper etiquette, Alfonso mango from Brazil, or I don't know where it comes from. Yes, that is there. It looks discouraging, it looks shrinkled maybe, but there's a fruit inside. So when you look at a devotee, do you want to see the peel? The outside, which is maybe a little shrinkled and disfigured, and so on, in your eyes, or do you want to see the fruit? You have to make that decision. Devotees are worshipping the same Lord which you worship. Devotees have found the same goal in life which you have found. They are family. And they, of course, are human beings also. And behind every devotee, there's a human story, what he has experienced and how he is conditioned and so on. Anyways, so Brihaspati gave Narada Muni an idea. He said, when Hiranyakashipu should persecute a saintly being, then his long life and fame will be destroyed. So at that time, Hiranyakashipu had no son and no daughter. He was childless. So Narada Muni thought, I have to somehow get him into the mood to make a child. And then he will go against the child, this demon, his own child, and then the Lord will not tolerate it, and he will be taken care of. Prahlada is very intelligent, Narada Muni. Yes. So, Brihaspati continued. Go to sing. I explained it a little wrong. I will correct it now. Go to Sirasara Gara and meditate about Vishnu. Don't worry, Narada Muni. Very soon a devotee child will appear and bring about the downfall of Hiranyakashipu. Because of course he will go against his child because he's a devotee. Narada Muni thought, oh, how will a devotee appear in Hiranyakashipu's child? When you are, let us say, a gangster, your child will usually be a gangster, So when you're a demon, your child will be another demon. So how will this happen? Narada Muni thought, and then he got a plan. And listen to Narada Muni's plan. How to give Hiranyakashipu a devotee child. Do you understand the logic here? He's a demon. He needs to offend his saint, and best if it's so close, if it's a family member, if he's a little child, and then boom, everything will be taken away from him. And so, in the meantime, Hiranyakashipu thought, I'm not actually immortal. I have gotten some boons, but I feel dissatisfied because Brahma said to me, you will not be killed at this time or that time under this circumstance, but he had not said to me, you will be immortal. So I need to get Brahma a second time and to force him to give me that boon. And so Hiranyakashipu felt dissatisfied and gave and went to mountain Kailash, and he wanted to ask there again. As he left his palace, many inauspicious omens appeared. There were earthquakes, there were fires springing up, and people advised him, don't go out now and make your austerities. You will be failing. It will not work. Look at the omen. Everyone can see this is a bad thing. But Hiranyakashipu said, I don't care. I'm stronger than all of this. You are weak. I'm strong. So he started his austerities a second time. He chanted, don't chant it after me, Om Brahmane Namaha, and la 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 la, many like this. Brahma became disturbed. Again he calls me. I have given what I can give. Again he comes. At that time Narada Muni came to Brahma and said, Father, those who have Govinda in their hearts have nothing to fear. Don't be afraid. I will tackle him. So Narada knows how to make tricks that bring about a demon's downfall. The way they did it is, I think you know, Narada Muni and Parvat Muni went to mountain Kailash. They took the form of little sparrows and they were next to Hiranyakashipu on a tree. Hiranyakashipu was standing, don't want them, like this on one leg, and there are good paintings about this, and was chanting Om Brahmane Namaha, don't, Om Brahmane Namaha. And Narada Muni and Parvat Muni, as little birds, were on this tree, and whenever he said Om Brahmane Namaha, now you can say it, they chanted Om Narayanaya. Yeah, you sound half dead, please. Actually, I told you the wrong mantra. Now I will tell you the right one, but you have to chant it loud. Om Namo Narayanaya. Continue. Om Namo. Om Brahmane Namaha. Om Brahmane Namaha. Om Brahmane. Om Brahmane. Om Brahmane. Om Brahmane. Om Brahmane. Stop! No, they didn't stop. Yes. I was trying to play Hiranyakashipu. He was really agitated. Do you know this when you want to chant your mantra and then they play on the an interesting song of I don't know what you listen to nowadays, and you can't concentrate. Especially, let us give a realistic example, because I know you only hear devotional music, but um, uh, mm, mm, in Vrindavan, you know, I was once chanting I was trying to chant my rounds, you know, and then from the loudspeakers I hear constantly, "Sannyasi, come home." You know? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Sannyasi. You know, these Indian ladies who have eaten too much sweets, you know. And oh, I had images of me getting two pistols and shooting that loudspeakers. I became so disturbed by the music, you know. Any type of music, you know, which they do in India is extreme, you know, everything is extreme, also loud, you know. So Hiranyakashipu became very angry. He couldn't continue his austerities because there were always these birds. Om Namo Narayana. And so he went home. His wife, Kayadhu, greeted her husband. "Oh, you are back? Mm. You are a little early back?" Mm. He was so frustrated. "Why are you back so early?" "It is not your business to ask this." Then Kayadhu said, "Oh, my husband, since long I want to have a child, and I am in my womanly situation where I can receive a child. Uh, I'm the most favorable position to conceive a child. I would like to have a child from you." Hiranyakashipu said, "Anything but." So he went, and as he was lying next to her, Kayatu again asked, "There should be no secrets in marriage life. Please tell me, why are you back so early? We all expected you to do austerities." And Hiranyakashipu was now in a mood to talk. He was in an intimate situation. And he said, "You know, I tried to chant to get Brahma to come and give me the boon of immortality. He had already come once, but he hadn't given it to me. But then there were these birds, and they were chanting, Om Namo Narayanaya. And as he was chanting, at that moment his powerful seed came into Kayatu, and she became pregnant with a devotee child. Because it is during conception, the consciousness of the parents which decide what type of child was attracted. So perhaps the only time in his life where he chanted any mantra was when he was explaining to his wife, Om Namo Narayanaya. That's why I couldn't hear my own mantra. That's why I left, you know, it was fruitless. And anyways, it had been told that there were bad omens when I started this. And so a very, very wonderful child, Prahlad, came into this world at that time. Prahlad Maharaj, and I will now come to slowly to the last portion of this lecture, is very important for devotees, because he represents one particular anga of devotional service. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we'll find that the ninefold processes of devotional service have always examples which, when you do these devotional services, you should see this is the ideal. Who is representing Shravanam? Parikshit. Why is that ideal? he listened as if his life was dependent. He only had how many days to live? 7, yes. Do you know how you listen to a Bhagavatam class when you know that you have 7 days to live? I can guarantee you, you won't be asleep at that time. You will see, is that something for me? I need to direct my consciousness at the moment of death, not to fear. I need to follow the examples of great souls. Who is the example of Kirtanam? Shukadev. Yeah, he spoke for 7 days non-stop. He didn't think this is my kirtan spot, half an hour, you know. He was chanting to praise the Lord and so on. And then comes the next process. What is that? Smaranam. That is remembering Krishna. And who is the example of that? Prahlada Maharaj. Why? Because even under the most difficult circumstances, when his own father attacked him with weapons. Wow, have you ever been attacked by your father with a weapon? Have you ever been thrown in a, what is it, in a hole with deadly snakes? No, have you ever been in a situations that elephants which had been made furious, more furious than the poor bulls which are sent into the arena in Spain for these fights. These elephants were attacking Prahlad to trample him to death. In all these situations, he was there chanting the name of the Lord, and actually he was closing his eyes. He sometimes chanted also, but most of the time he just remembered Krishna, because after all he was surrounded by demons. If he would always chant loud, he would chant loud when he was in the school with all the school children. Then he would get on the table and Hare Krishna, and so on. But he was known as Smaranam. My dear devotees, there will be physical and mental torture in our lives. There will be something which Keshava Maharaj calls life quakes. Do you know what is an earthquake? When there is an earthquake, your life changes. Your house falls on the ground. You really have to start from zero. So in the spiritual in life also there are these life quakes where things are getting very tough. Like for Arjuna, one of his life quakes was when? Before the battle of Kurukshetra, exactly. He was having to fight against his own family. Oof. A decent person, I mean, Kali Yuga, that is, you do this every day, but this was with weapons, and it was in old times, So, but he remembered Krishna, he turned to Krishna. My dear devotees, how is it with you when you have a life quake? Where do you go? I'm just in the situation where all the devotees run to the GBC. Yes, there is some problem and so on. I'm telling him it's good, but run to Krishna first. Look at Prahlad. You can see how far you are in your faith of Krishna, that by where do you run when the life quake happens? Do you know what is a life quake? Some of you know. It will come, don't worry. My godbrother, one godbrother has said, we will only get out of this world crawling on our bellies. We will be humble. I have to be humble. I want to read to you something which our Bhakti Charu Maharaj said only 3 months before his death. And what he recommends. Do you know Bhakti Charu Maharaj? Do you know the circumstances how he left his body? Some of you know. Alone in a hospital. No one could see him. So he says, today I was reflecting on what do we usually pray. We expect that we can leave our bodies surrounded by devotees, yes. But in a situation like this, he was addressing the COVID time, it was during the COVID time. In the situation like this, we may not have a devotee association. We may be in a hospital. No devotee will be allowed to come near us because of the contagious nature of this disease. We won't be able to hear about Krishna. We won't be able to think about Krishna. We won't be able to remember Krishna. This means others will not be there to remind us of Krishna. So we have to depend upon Krishna ourselves. We have to pray to Krishna with all our hearts that Krishna, please, please don't allow me to forget you. Please let me remember you at the most difficult time when I'm going to leave my body. Now the situation is such that I have become bereft of the association of your devotees. You have mentioned that the association of devotees is the spiritual sky. Association of devotees is your internal potency, but now I have become unable to have that association. So please let me remember you on my own. And I depend upon you. Please don't allow me to forget you. Please. This is my only prayer. Our Prahlada Maharaj is known as the example of Smaranam, or remembering Krishna, because of the most difficult situation. And here we see our esteemed Bhakti Charu Maharaj praying in the mood of Prahlada Maharaj, that I might die in a situation where there are no devotees which help me to remind me of Krishna. You know, usually devotees come and they chant the holy names, and that is extremely wanted and helpful and necessary. This is how Srila Prabhupada left his body. He had devotees coming and chanting kirtan non-stop. No? So Prahlad, let us see Narsimhadev through the eyes of Prahlad. Let us start remembering Lord Narsimhadev. I will now end with a few verses. There is a verse from a book called Subhashita Ratna Bandaram. It's a compilation of verses, and in one verse you will find the final moments of Hiranyakashipu. Would you like to know them? Charu, you are there with us? You're ready to listen? Yeah, maybe stop drawing for a moment. I know the piece of art is coming, I know. But so Hiranyakashipu, I will speak like Hiranyakashipu. What is it? What is it? The servant says, "Oh Lord, it's a lion outside on the door." So what? The servant, oh Lord, he has a human body. I have never seen such a strange creature. Hiranyakashipu, if that is the case, bring him here before me. The servant, oh Lord, he's already coming. Hiranyakashipu, bring me my chapa. You need to understand the translation. Chapa means bow. Bow is a weapon where you can kill from the distance, in case you don't know. So he doesn't want to let him come close. Bring me my chapa. Bring my his nails. Last words, you know. May that Nrsimha, who thus tore the chest of Hiranyakashipu with his sharp nails, protect you all. Now, just at that moment, before the nails did their work, there is something else you need to know. Hiranyakashipu could see, I'm losing this. So fearing the destruction of his body, he quickly entered under the nails of Narsimhadev. Therefore we cut usually our nails, let there be nothing, under. So in astonishment, Lord Narsimhadev thought, where is he? Where is he? He was looking everywhere. And not finding him, the Lord explained, oh, it was all in vain. And then he clapped his hands together. At this moment, the demon fell down from under the nails, when you do like this, and on the ground like a speck of dirt. When Lord Narsimhadev saw Hiranyakashipu like this, he laughed loudly. All glories to Lord Narsimhadev. So let us end by chanting the Nrsimha Mahamantra. It is from the Nrsimha Tapani Upanishad. There is many commentaries. Also the Adi Shankara has commented. They all are worshippers of Lord Nrsimhadev. Louder. Ugravidam Mahavishnum Jalantam Sarvato Mukam Nrsimham Vijanam Vadam Ugram Viram Mahavishnum Jalantam Sarvato Mukam Nrsimham Vijanam Vadam Mrityom namamyaham. One more time, but you are not chanting, not all of you are knowing this mantra, no? Okay, so those who know, Ugram Viram Mahavishnum Jalantam Sarvato Mukam Nrsimham Vijanam Vadram Mrityom namamyaham. Ugram Viram Mahavishnum Jalantam Sarvato Mukam Nrsimham Vijanam Vadram Mrityom namamyaham. Ugram Viram Mahavishnum Jalantam Sarvato Mukam Nrsimham Vijanam Vadram Mrityom namamyaham. It is said in previous times, before this universe, this was the Mahamantra. Lord Narsimhadev was the deity whom one took shelter of, and we take shelter of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But we asked Lord Nrsimhadev to help us in our journey to Radha and Krishna. Especially we asked him to kill our enemies. Do you know what your real enemies are? Once Prabhupada was asked by a devotee, by the devotees, it was in Paris on a morning walk, Prabhupada, what is the worst enemy of the devotee? And Srila Prabhupada answered, he himself is his worst enemy. We are boycotting ourselves. Stop being a nonsense, Prabhupada said. You know, Prabhupada preaching. So yes, so more specifically, these enemies are karma, lust, krodha, anger. Karma, krodha, please help me. Lobha, greed. Moha, illusion. Mada, madness. And matsaya, envious. Envy in our heart. Yeah, good. So I thank you all very much for being so long here and listening. We thought we should have a thing. Do you remember something from the lecture? I would like to do something unconventional because we heard about Prahlada being what? The example of what? Smaranam. So why don't we turn to our neighbor now and share with our neighbor what we remember from the lecture? No, we should. It should not be. We are not a theoretical movement. No, it will be very brief. And please, even if you only have an impression, it was about Nrsimhadev. I like Nrsimhadev. Good, good, good. But try to remember more. No. Do this now. Give back. Go. Ich löse das jetzt mal auf, aber ich wollte die... So, Hare Krishna, Haribo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yes. I thank you very, very much. I'm looking at the wristwatch. There is no time to ask questions, but perhaps there is time tomorrow um, on Nrsimha Chaturdasi. I wish you a wonderful time here on the farm. May Lord Nrsimhadev bless your stay here. And please, many devotees who are here, they know, uh, uh, please go to Lord Nrsimhadev. Usually the altar is a little free when devotees are taking prasadam, when they stand in line. So you may like to go there and spend a few moments praying to Lord Nrsimhadev to help you to overcome your obstacles. It will be granted. I want to thank you very much. All the best, and I believe I see devotees. There must be prasadam now. I'm yet not. It's about the time where we eat prasadam. All the best. Lord Nrsimhadev ki jai. Go Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.